The wedding gift he opened too late. Some gifts are not meant to be opened immediately. They wait quietly, carrying emotions instead of value. But when love waits too long, it doesn't turn into happiness, it turns into regret. Welcome to my channel, where we share real-life emotional stories that remind us how fragile time really is. This is the story of a wedding gift that arrived on the happiest day of a man's life and was opened on the loneliest night of his existence. On the day of his wedding, Rohan felt unstoppable. The hall was filled with lights, music, laughter, and the constant noise of celebration. Everyone wanted his attention. Friends pulled him for photos. Relatives surrounded him with advice, and responsibilities arrived faster than he could process them. It felt like life had finally moved forward. In the middle of all that excitement, his father stood quietly near the exit, watching his son with pride mixed with a sadness he never spoke about. Before leaving, his father stepped forward and handed Rohan a sealed envelope. It was simple, slightly thick, with no name written on it. "Open it when you get time," his father said softly. Rohan smiled, hugged him quickly, and nodded. There was no emotional conversation, no dramatic moment. The envelope went into his bag, buried under wedding cards and gifts. At that time, Rohan didn't know he was holding something more valuable than all of them combined. Marriage brought happiness, but it also brought busyness. Rohan and his wife moved into a new apartment, adjusting to routines, expenses, and expectations. Life became full of small responsibilities that demanded constant attention. Days passed quickly, evenings ended in exhaustion. Calls to his father became shorter, practical, and less frequent. "Are you fine?" "Yes." "Take care. You too." Rohan believed that silence meant everything was okay. The envelope stayed in a drawer. His father lived alone after his wife's death. He never complained about loneliness. He never asked Rohan to visit. He believed his son was busy building a future and he didn't want to interfere. The house became quieter with time, but he accepted it as part of life. Love for him meant stepping back, not demanding attention. Months later, while searching for documents, Rohan noticed the envelope again. It looked older now, slightly bent at the edges. For a moment, guilt touched his heart. He thought about opening it, but decided to wait. Tonight, he told himself. But work calls, dinner plans, and tiredness pushed the thought away. The envelope went back into the drawer unopened. That same night, his phone rang. The voice on the other end belonged to a neighbor. The words came slowly, carefully, as if kindness could soften their impact. Rohan's father had been found unconscious in his house. By the time help arrived, he was already gone. He had died alone. The world felt unreal. Rohan returned to the house he grew up in, now filled with silence. His father's shoes were still by the door. His glasses lay on the table. Everything looked the same except the presence that gave it meaning. At the funeral, people spoke about his father's kindness and sacrifices. Rohan stood quietly, unable to cry properly, carrying a heaviness he couldn't explain. That night, after everyone left, Rohan sat alone in his room. The silence was unbearable. His eyes fell on the envelope lying beside him. His hands trembled as he opened it for the first time. Inside was a single letter, written carefully in his father's familiar handwriting. "Beta, if you are reading this and I am no longer here, forgive me. Forgive me if I stayed quiet when I wanted to talk, and forgive me if I loved you silently instead of loudly. I never wanted to disturb your happiness or become a burden in your new life. I was always proud of you. Live well, live without guilt." Rohan collapsed into tears. The pain was sharper than anything he had felt before. His father had prepared for absence while still alive. He had written goodbye words without knowing when they would be read. Rohan realized how cruel time can be. Love unopened does not disappear. It waits, and when it is finally received, it arrives as grief. He replayed every missed call, every postponed visit, every moment he assumed would come later. He had believed parents wait forever. They don't. Life slowly returned to normal, but Rohan was not the same. He became more aware of time, more sensitive to silence, more careful with people he loved. The envelope stayed with him, not as a memory, but as a reminder. His father's final gift was not the letter. It was the lesson hidden inside loss. Some gifts are not meant to make you happy. They are meant to wake you up. Lesson: love should never be postponed. Words left unread and feelings left unspoken often return as regret. Open hearts and letters while the people who gave them are still alive. Thanks for watching.